Do you want to take pictures of stars with your existing DSLR or mirrorless camera and with your telescope? Stick around and I'll show you how to do it. So after taking pictures with my DSLR and the wide angle lens, I had an old telescope. It was a Bosch & Lomb Criterion 4000. It was a 4-inch Schmidt Cassegrain. And I wanted to be able to take now more narrow photos of stars, clusters, galaxies. The good thing about that mount is you had to set it up in an equatorial position with these legs, and it would track the stars just by slowly turning based off of the motor it had in there. It wasn't great, but it did a good enough job. It's a telescope from the 80s, I think. I'll throw a picture up here maybe of what it is that I had. So I had that, and I also had, of course, my DSLR here, and I wanted to mate the two. And all I could find was you need a T-ring and a T-adapter. And I couldn't tell if they were the same thing or two different things, and it was a bit confusing. It's actually quite simple. I think a lot easier now these days. It's a lot more clear. But what you'll need obviously is a telescope, which I mentioned, and then your DSLR. You just need the body, so you don't need the lens. You're gonna take the lens off. Do that in a sec. And then you need a T-ring. So depending on your camera, Nikon, Canon, Sony, Panasonic, Leica, there's a bunch of them out there, but the two main ones obviously being Nikon and Canon. First thing you need is a T-ring, and it usually comes with the other parts. But what a T-ring is, so I got two examples of them here, is this piece, when you take your lens off, it has the one side so that you can screw it in as if it was a lens. So it'll screw in and click. That's what these things are. And so, again, this one's a Nikon, and this one's a Canon. Probably can't see it very well. I don't know if I can show you there. You can see how it's not really a screw, it's more of a flanged, and there's the white hash mark for where you line it up with your camera, to stick on the lens. And the same thing for the Canon. Again, flange, and I believe there's a red mark here somewhere. Oh, I can see that. Oh yeah, there it is. So that goes into the camera side, and then on this side is a thread. And that is a, don't quote me here, it's either an M42 or an M48. I think it's a 42. These things will have it's almost like sort of an adapter ring on the inside of it. And I don't know if you can see it here. Actually, maybe on the Canon one, it's a bit easier. I get the right lighting on it. See how there's an edge? And in there will be, where is it here? On the edge, there'll be a little hole. So yeah, there it is. Where you can get a little Allen key, or it might be a flathead. Go in there and loosen off, and then you can take this ring out, and it'll be the bigger size. So be the M48 or whatever it might be. So you can put, bigger connectors on it. That's usually when you start getting into, filters, which if you're in any kind of city lights, you're going to need a filter, particularly if you're going to be shooting nebula. So, and that would look something like, take it out here. That will look something like this. So it's kind of a mirrored look, and basically same on the other side. This will go somewhere in your image train. So if you have a filter drawer that would go between the camera and the telescope, you can drop it in there. They also do have, from the right side here, there's threads here that you can use to screw it in, and then there should be threads on the inside. So that is a possibility. This is a 2-inch filter, not really going to be, it's not going to work in this scenario. But if we took off this flange, this would screw into it. So that would work. Once you have your T-adapter, all you need, and it'll likely come with this, is this little thing here, which is just an eyepiece. So this is the diameter where you stick in an eyepiece into your telescope, drop it in there or up there, and then screw it in. That's it. So this screws in here, right? And there you go. Stick this on your camera. So I will do that and just line up the white mark with the white mark. Oh, got the wrong white mark. Okay, come on. Oh. Okay, make sure you use the right adapter. I trying to use a Canon adapter. So let's use the Nikon. Okay, this is the Nikon adapter. It's a smaller. It's quite a bit smaller than the Canon. You can see the white hash mark again, and you'll see the white right there. So you just line those two up. There it goes. Comes in. There. As far as it knows, it's just a lens. It's a dumb lens because none of the little connectors are connected to a lens that'll tell what it does. But then you just drop that into your telescope and you're ready to go. And as an example, this is an eyepiece holder. So this would be what your telescope would have. Right? Just goes in like that, and then you would tighten that down, just like you would any other eyepiece. And that's it. You're ready to take shots through your telescope. Really simple. They're called T adapters. I don't know why. Somebody in the comments maybe could tell me. And then you're going to want to, when you actually take the photos, set your camera to manual, set the focus, point your telescope at a really bright star, and then get the focus dialed in with your telescope. You may have to move this in and out depending on the length needed, or you can use spacers. I didn't bring any with me, but you can put a spacer between this guy and here, and those should just be the M42s. Those are pretty. You can get like a collection of them, 10 different adapter rings from Amazon for fairly cheap. So once you got the focus dialed in, then you're going to set your aperture. Recommend to set it as wide as possible, and then your shutter speed is going to dictate the length of your image, of your sub. So you can dial that generally in camera all the way down to 30 seconds. If you have a tracking mount, you can then use those long exposures. In a previous video, I mentioned the intervalometer. I'll show a picture of it here. That connects to this, and that allows you to take photos longer than 30 seconds if you want. Minute, 30, whatever you want. You can even have it set so it takes multiple shots, the same, just like you would use an ASI Air. It would take, one photo set, 2 photos at whatever shutter speed you have it set up. If you don't have an intervalometer, what I would recommend is that you set the timer. Use the timer feature, the feature I've mentioned before. You stick your camera on something, on a tripod, and you hit the button, you run and jump so you can be in the photo. It kind of delays it for 5 seconds before it takes a shot. Do that. Once you have all your settings dialed in, set the timer, press it, step away, and then I'll make sure your telescope is stable, the camera itself is stable, so you're not going to get any wobble from pressing the button. And then that's about it. Where you'll then run into is how well your mount is guiding for you. Again, I was using an old telescope from the 80s, and its motor was, it did a decent enough job, but for taking photos anything longer than, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds, maybe a 30-second sub, was a little touch and go. You'll start getting oblong stars and stuff like that. If you don't have a tracking mount at all, then this won't really do too much unless you're going to try to do some sort of lucky imaging, which is take very fast shots. So, sub 1 second shots. That can work, and you can take like hundreds of them and then do stacking that way. So that's a possibility until you start getting into tracking mounts, like the CG5 that I have back there that I have in another video. One thing to note about the DSLRs, they have, like, for instance, this is a full frame, big sensor on it, 25 megapixels, so it's a really good sensor. But every DSLR has a protective cover on it, and it's for UV and IR splatter, so it's a filter for that, but it really filters it out. Like, you'll see UV and IR filters that you can get for your telescope, but they're much more narrow, and the ones that are on here really cut it out. So if you're taking anything like nebulas, you're not going to see anything unless you're taking very long exposures or lots of, very long exposures and lots of exposures. So that's the one drawback of using a DSLR, is it'll work well for galaxies for the most part, globular clusters and different binary, trinary type star systems. But when you get into the big deep sky objects like the Orion Nebula will come through probably. But anything dimmer, something like the Witch's Head would be pretty difficult to pull through on one of these, I think. But it's pretty good at doing, just to get, you've got one of these already, you've got a cheap telescope, one that does the trick well enough. The one I have here, I've been using it for a couple of years and it's been great. But if you want to just get started, try things out, use your existing equipment, just get these adapters. They're pretty cheap. I'll post a link down in the description below of where you can get this on Amazon. And then, yeah, that's it. Telescope, plop this in, and you're taking photos through your telescope, really zoomed in, using your existing camera. Start this way and see what's out there. With that, that's all I have, guys. Appreciate it. Any comments, please leave them down below. And thanks for watching.